Hello, everyone. Welcome to week 5 of my weekly podcast, I Am Not Worthless. Today, we're going to discuss modern day budgeting and things that you might want to keep in mind and keep an eye out to try and save you some money. Because, unfortunately, with jobs not being readily available, money not growing quickly, you need to be able to handle the inflation that's causing everything to go up in price. First, home prices, car prices, they've gone up, but usually the rate they go up is reflective of the market, and so it's not surprising. At least for your normal everyday house and car. Unfortunately, and so basically in the price and the cost overall depends on your credit, how much you pay down at the beginning, and then what deals can you get? Can you get some kind of discount on your car? Can you get some discount on the property, on the closing costs? Anything. The insurance, though, is an entirely different story. Now, I'm going to speak specifically of Texas, but I'm sure you can look up your own state and find what the cost increase has been over the last 20 years. In Texas, home insurance is up almost 57% since 2020, up 31% since 2021 for car insurance. Now, the car insurance rates are going up because of uninsured drivers, theft being always a prevalent issue, and then we've had a lot of storms in Texas that have produced damaging hail, and obviously cars, if they're not parked in a garage, if they're not parked somewhere where they can't get hit, if they get hit by hail, that's a cost. Now, the problem with insurance, and we'll talk about this with other things as well, there's no loyalty discount. So if you're with Geico, State Farm, Progressive for 20 years, 10 years, your rate goes up, not down, up. So you might get a good deal at the very, very, very beginning, but by the time you get to that 10-year mark, you're paying more than you would have paid if you would have not gotten the discount at the beginning. So it's like they don't look at your loyalty and go, oh, he's been with, they've been with us for 20 years. Let's give him a nice discount. Let's give him a nice bonus. Let's give him an extra coverage. Let's give him an extra thingy. No, it's right up. And they do that because technically shopping around for car insurance and home insurance is annoying. You have to go to different websites. You have to put in your information over and over and over again. And sometimes you have to have information that you might not have readily available. My advice for this is to audit your policy every year. See what you're actually paying for, how much you're paying, and whether A, you need that, or B, what are other insurance companies offering for the same product, the same thing that you have. If your rate is less than switching, then you're golden. However, if the price is lower, you can choose to switch, or you can choose to call up your company and go, hey, I found at this company and this company and this company rates that are lower than what you're charging me, and it's the same package. And actually, one of them is better. I don't know. It depends on your circumstances, but that might happen. You might find a company that is different than yours, that gives you more coverage than what you have currently for a less price. And that's the key to budgeting, is to always look at, can I get more for less? Now, with some things, you can't really change your company. If you live in an apartment, your electric and water are pretty much already set in stone. Internet might be a variable, but probably not. It depends. And so you need to always be looking, can I get a better deal somewhere else? And can I use that to negotiate? Now, if you don't drive your car a lot, if you don't really drive that often, then maybe see about getting a pay as you drive model, where they basically look at and track how many miles you do every month and then charge you based on the mileage. That way you could save money there, because what if, let's say you only go to church. Let's say only one day a week you leave your house, your church is not even 15 minutes from your house round trip. You don't need super severe coverage if you have your car in a garage, because you're not going anywhere. You don't do anything, so you don't really need full coverage insurance. Now we're going to move to the grocery store. And like I said last week, which we'll do that one first, you have to look, when you go to the grocery store, what you're getting and how many meals do you get out of it. What's the price per ounce? And also, would you actually eat all that food before it goes bad? If one meal costs $6 and in the same bag, another bag of it costs you, $3 a meal, why would you go with the $6? Go with the $3. Now, before we had smartphones, there was some computer programming involved with grocery pricing, but it was just to track inventory and to make sure that you were consistent with your pricing across the company, at least baseline. And then someone would have to go around and physically change the tags. When I worked electronics at Walmart, I had to change tags on shelves whenever they rotated product in or out. Unfortunately, we are now approaching AI and smartphones, and so with COVID, we shifted more towards app-based delivery and app-based grocery shopping, where either we have it delivered to our house or we pick it up at the store. So we don't have to actually go into the store to get our product. So more and more pricing was needing to be done through the app and making sure that the majority of your products are in the app. And something that Kroger tried to do a few years ago, I think, probably before COVID, and then they probably canceled it because of COVID. But we are now going to be experiencing electronic shelf labels and electronic shelf tags. Basically, what's going to happen is that the companies are going to change out no more paper tags. You're going to have a digital bar on shelves. Now, I don't know how they're going to keep it protected, but I'm sure they'll figure something out. That tag can then be changed with a Palm Pilot, a tablet, and a computer. And so you could basically, and Kroger was going to do, I don't know if they're still going to do it, but their plan was to make it be where, if you create a grocery list on their app, you could go into the store and it would highlight your item that you put on the list, so you would know where to go. They were going to have symbols or words, tiles on the tags that would tell you, is it kosher? Is it dairy free? Is it gluten free? Is it, diabetes friendly? I don't know if they're still planning to do that, but I think the technology is there. Now, the problem with electronic shelf labels is a thing called dynamic pricing. Basically, what happens is dynamic pricing follows what you buy and makes those products charges you more for that item than you would have paid a week ago, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, whatever. The companies are saying, no, But it is a possibility because like I said, it's a computer-based pricing system. No more physical tags. And you might say, well, then I won't use the app. I'll just go in the store. The problem is if you go to Kroger, Albertsons, Tom Thumb, if your store has a loyalty card, or you use the app, it gets you. Same thing with, coupons. If it has a coupon, they got you there. Another thing that they're doing in the stores is what's called green shopping. Basically, they're slapping on products natural, artisanal, specialty blend, putting fancy labels, fancy names, fancy stickers on products that are the same as the item next to it. But because it's got that label, they charge more. And so you think you're getting all natural. It's the same thing as the one next to it. Or maybe the shelf above or below it. It's the same product, just a different tag. So, some advice to how to save money at the grocery store: buy store brand. Majority of the products that are under the store brand label were made in the same factory as the name brand. So, for example, chocolate, Hershey makes their own chocolate, but they might make another store's private brand for a cut of the profit. Another thing that I would say is that if they're tracking what you're buying and charging you more for that product, then don't always buy the same product. Let's say you buy once a month a bag of Doritos. Well, then maybe 1 month buy Cheetos. And then the next month buy your Doritos. And then for 2 months buy something else. Pretzels. Something. A lot of time, and that's if you could buy different brands too. Like there's different companies that make soup. You could buy different brands of soup. A lot of the times, the difference in both price and taste is negligible. They can't change the pricing on you if you're not buying the same product every single week or every single day or every single month. When it comes to coupons as well, I've seen a lot of times where I've seen coupons and even Walmart Cash, Sam's Club Cash, whatever program it is, where it's like, oh, buy 2 breads and get 20 cents. Unless you live in a household that eats 2 loaves of bread before it goes bad, you're wasting bread. And yes, you could freeze bread and all that stuff, but I'm assuming and saying that you don't want to buy more than you know you can use. More than you would buy. And it's the same idea, concept at, like I said, between Sam's Club, Costco, and Walmart, Kroger. Do you need a 40-ounce tub of mayonnaise? Or can you get away with getting a smaller jar at Walmart, Kroger, wherever? Always make sure you're buying what you can use and what you need. That is a big way to save money at the grocery store. I see in commercials for the home delivery where chefs make your meals for you. They go out to meet people and go, how much you spend a week on groceries? Oh, $300, $200. I can guarantee you that unless you're living in a city like New York, Houston, LA, where the cost of living is higher, the cost of groceries is higher, most people can get away with going to the grocery store, spending $200 and have enough groceries for the rest of the month. Not a week, a month. The only way to combat inflation at the grocery store is to not buy certain things. Or buy, like I said, buy store brand. It might be the same exact company that makes the name brand, just at a much lower price. when it came to utilities, it used to be that companies would say, okay, electric rate is 15 cents a kilowatt hour, 5 cents a kilowatt hour, whatever it is for that year. And it would change based on usage, infrastructure, needs, and changes. And then, of course, the taxes that the state or the federal government charges these companies. And it could be for something as simple as just regulatory. You're starting to now see, though, variable rate plans, where the rate changes based on the time of day, and the time of day that they charge the most is when you are actually going to be home. Because if they charge the most when you're not home, then you're not going to be losing any money. And then they go, oh, we'll give you free nights. You get free nights. But if you're home, let's say you're home at 7 o'clock and you have to go to bed at 9 because you have to get up at 4 the next morning to go back to work, you're not really getting that savings. And then you have to add into, now we have even more things that are part of our utility packages, things like smart home apps. A lot of smart appliances have an app that you can use to control your device, control your washer, your dryer, your oven, your microwave, whatever. But the problem is that a lot of them are going to be subscription based. If you want to access certain features, you got to fork over some money. Got to fork over that greenback. What if you got a Ring doorbell or a security camera or a security doorbell? Ring's just one company. There's others. If you want cloud storage, if you want your videos kept, if you are worried about something and you want to make sure that you could check 3 months ago, 4 months ago, 5 months ago, there's a fee right there. And then with your delivery for different stores and different websites, they have different packages that you could pay to either get certain items delivered faster, certain things delivered faster, or just your entire order delivered faster. I know whenever I put an order in for Walmart Plus, there's always a thing at the end that goes, would you like to get this item sooner? And it's an express, and I think primary and deluxe, or it's basically two different levels, and one's $3 more and one's $6 more. And the $6 more is like you get it in under an hour. The $3 one, you get it in under an hour and a half. So basically, number one, 30 minutes less for $3. And either way, 90 minutes faster for $3 to $6. It's, again, we go back to the advice I would give back on this one is, again, audit. Go through and see what apps you are actually using, both streaming services, delivery services. If you have a membership, if you have, I think Kroger, I don't know, it's Kroger Plus or Kroger One. But if you have the Kroger one and you maybe shop there once every 3 months, don't pay for it. Just don't. Just go to Kroger. Why pay for something that you're only going to use maybe 2 times a year? And get rid of ones that are overcharged. If you don't like the value you get from a streaming service, change. Now, with regard to other utilities like electric, water, internet, cell phone, those you might have to base on what your area has and what you're allowed to do. Some places you might have several options for electric. Some places you might only have 2. And those 2 are so vastly different, you might as well stick with your current one. With regard to utilities as well, you can run your appliances at night or early in the morning. Usually those are the rates. Even if it's not flat rate, a variable rate, it is cheaper to run at night or in the morning. Now, some extra tips and tricks. The old rules of things don't really apply. People are now becoming more savvy about what they're buying, when they're buying it, and how they're buying it. People are now repairing. If you can repair something and you can make it last a little bit longer, People do that. Um, People are generally going with do I need the new product? For example, phones. Do you really need the new Samsung Galaxy S, the new Google Pixel phone, the new iPhone? Is there really that much a difference year to year? Or can you wait 2 years? Can you wait 3 years? Because by 3 or 4 years, yeah, then there'll be a big difference between what you have and what's currently available. But year to year, there's not much of a difference. And then also the fact is you're paying about $1,000 a phone when it's going to be the same phone almost for another 1,000 the next year. Same thing with clothes. Do you really need the latest fashion? Do you really need the newest pair of jeans or the newest t-shirt? The only time I will ever buy clothes is if I really want a shirt that I don't already own. And that's usually only maybe 1 or 2 a year, and maybe it's $15 for the whole year. So the main thing is that businesses rely on customers. Without customers, businesses either have to lower their prices, pivot to another industry, or shut down. And some companies do. We've seen many companies fold over the last 20 years, 10 years, 5 years. And the last thing I want to touch on is fake jobs and interview scams. Things that I've seen and things that I've heard about. AI is being used to post fake job listings on legitimate websites like LinkedIn, Indeed, Monster. And then those people are using AI to make an interview. So basically you think, oh, I'm going to get an interview, yay! And it's an AI. You think, okay, that's fine. And then they'll give you a check. One of the scams that they do is they'll send you a check to buy office supplies for your home office. You might not use that much. And they might ask you to send the funds back. Problem is that check wasn't actually from an account that had money. And now you're on the hook for the check and the money you gave away. AI, voice, and deepfake video are going from romance scams, lottery scams, to now you're dealing with the threat of this is, Detective James Smith with the Fort Worth Police Department, Tarrant County Sheriff's Office, FBI, IRS, that we need you to send money. We have a warrant out for your arrest. We have a tax bill for $50,000 in your name. And people get scared and they go, well, I got to send money. I don't want to go to jail. I don't want to get audited. First thing is, and this has been said, and one of the oldest tips for internet safety, don't click links. If you don't recognize the sender in the email, you don't recognize the phone number, don't answer. If it's important, they'll leave a message. Scammers do not leave messages. Scammers want quick access. And if leaving a message is not quick, because you might not get the message for 3 days, 4 days, 5 days. Now, with a limit, if you know it's a legitimate company, like you actually have an account with Amazon, or you actually have a bank account with that bank that sent you a notification in your email, or the phone number matches Wells Fargo or Capital One or Citibank, do not answer. Instead, hang up, call the company back with the number that's on the back of your card, your statement, or on the actual website. And then say, hey, I just got a call from you guys. Is this legitimate? They'll be able to tell you, A, is it legitimate? And B, if not, they'll send you to their fraud department, who can then handle that case from there to make sure that A, you're safe, and B, that they can punish whoever did it, if that's possible. Or at least fix the security break that occurred to maybe lead to that. with rising prices of everything, you have to make a choice. Do I want to spend the money, or do I want to wait? That does it for this week's episode of I Am Not Worthless. Next week, we're going to dive back into biology. So look out for that. I will see you guys next week.